Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a really fascinating transformation. We're looking at how ordinary, everyday glass, stuff you probably don't even think twice about, can actually be engineered into a highly sophisticated, invisible protective barrier. We're talking upgrades for your home, your office, and even your car that literally redefine how we experience our indoor environments.
Okay, let's dive into this because this is a question that completely shifts how we think about property maintenance. Look, if you live or work in high heat areas, places like Southern California or Texas, you absolutely know the struggle of keeping a building cool. But what if the solution wasn't just constantly cranking up the AC? What if you could upgrade the glass itself? Seriously, what if your windows could actively work to pay for themselves? Here's a quick roadmap of what we're covering today. First, we'll look at the true cost of sunshine. Second, the actual science behind window film. Third, architectural tinting solutions. Fourth, advanced automotive protection. And finally, why professional installation absolutely matters.
All right, jumping into part one, the cost of sunshine. So we all love a bright sunny day, right? But the reality is that relentless afternoon sun acts as a sort of invisible threat to our homes, our workspaces, and yeah, our wallets. Think about how we usually fight back. We put up these heavy blackout curtains that basically turn our living rooms into vampire lairs, or we just leave the AC running nonstop. Meanwhile, heat gain, blinding glare, and invisible UV damage are constantly attacking your interior investments. Honestly, those old fixes, they're kind of outdated compared to what modern material science can do for us today. And this is where it gets real. 80%. That's a massive number. High-performance architectural window films can reject up to 80% of solar heat directly at the window glass. I mean, it stops the heat before it ever even enters the building envelope. By blocking the heat right at the barrier, you're getting a massive, immediate drop in your cooling demands. And that is exactly how the film pays for itself over time. You're looking at month-to-month compounding energy savings. Plus, the protection doesn't stop at heat. Quality films block 99.9% of harmful UV radiation. That right there is the silent destroyer responsible for warping your expensive hardwood floors, fading out that luxury upholstery, and just ruining vibrant artwork. So a single installation creates this shield that actively preserves the lifespan of your interior furnishings, all while you just go about your day. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we actually get those results. Let's move to part two, the science of window film. So how exactly do we achieve those massive rejection numbers? Well, first we gotta debunk a huge myth. Putting film on your windows does not mean you're turning your living room into a dark, dreary cave. It's just not true anymore. Today's spectrally selective films are engineered with multiple microscopic layers of advanced materials. We're talking ceramic particles and reflective metals. They're incredibly smart. They actually let in a high percentage of natural visible light, but they specifically target and block the harmful infrared heat and UV rays. They just sit there, working silently in the background, letting you keep that bright, natural vibe without dealing with the miserable heat transfer. All right, moving on to part three, architectural tinting solutions. So how does this science apply to the real world? Well, every building is completely different. A ground floor apartment over near SoFi Stadium is going to have entirely different needs compared to, say, a sun-baked retail storefront on Manchester Boulevard. That's why a professional evaluates the glazing and shading to pick the perfect fit, usually pulling from three core categories. First up, you've got solar control films. These are your heavy hitters for maximizing heat rejection, especially on those big south-facing windows. Then you have decorative and privacy films, like those sleek frosted options that hide sensitive spots, like conference rooms, without killing the natural light. And third, safety and security films. These are physically thicker materials engineered to hold shattered glass perfectly intact if there's an impact or a break-in. And hey, beyond the functional metrics, the aesthetic upgrade is a total game changer. Let's be honest, bare glass often looks totally cluttered from the outside. You've got mismatched blinds, half-drawn curtains, random office furniture pressed up against the window. By applying a uniform, neutral-toned, or even slightly reflective film, you instantly create this cohesive, highly modernized facade. It's an immediate boost to curb appeal, which is a super strategic play for property managers or homeowners in a competitive real estate market. Let's move to and see how this builds into our next topic. Part 4, Advanced Automotive Protection. Because think about it, the exact same harsh sunlight that's degrading your living room is absolutely attacking you during your daily drive. Now, a super common question is, can I just use my leftover house film on my car? The short answer? Absolutely not. No way. House tint and car tint are engineered completely differently. They interact with entirely different types of glass, and they face completely different environmental stressors. Understanding that chemical and mechanical difference is crucial before making an investment. Seriously, picture this: squinting your way through a brutal morning commute on the 405 freeway or just roasting in that intense Texas heat. It is miserable. Standard factory-dyed glass might look a little dark from the outside, but it usually fails completely when it comes to blocking actual infrared heat. Upgrading to an advanced automotive film makes a massive, instantly noticeable difference in cabin comfort, and it takes so much of that intense visual strain off your eyes while you drive. A perfect example of this is C2 nano-carbon film. This is absolute top-tier tech. It uses actual carbon particles to absorb solar energy. And because it's completely non-metallic, it guarantees zero interference with your cell reception, your GPS, or your toll tags. Even better, it delivers this really rich, deep black appearance that won't fade. You know that cheap, bubbly purple tint you constantly see on the highway that makes a car look like a peeling 90s spaceship? Yeah, this won't do that. It protects your car's interior from cracking, with the exact same power that architectural film protects your home. Which brings us right to part 5, why professional installation matters. And this brilliantly illustrates a key point. All that incredible engineering means literally nothing if the application is flawed. Even the absolute best ceramic or carbon film will fail, bubble, or peel if it's applied in an uncontrolled environment. It demands a meticulous prep process. Before the adhesive ever even touches the surface, the glass has to be perfectly scraped, aggressively scrubbed, and squeegeed to absolute perfection just to get rid of microscopic dust. After that, the edge trimming has to be flawlessly precise so it bonds perfectly with the window gaskets. It's a highly specialized craft. But when it is properly applied by a pro, the longevity and return on investment are honestly staggering. Professional-grade films on residential properties usually last between 15 to 20 years. For commercial applications, you're looking at a solid 10 to 15 years. And that's only slightly less just because commercial spaces undergo way heavier routine cleaning. And speaking of cleaning, the maintenance on this stuff is a total breeze. You do not need harsh, specialized chemicals. Once the film has fully cured to the glass, you literally just maintain that scratch-resistant coating using a soft, non-abrasive cloth and some mild ammonia-free glass cleaner. That's the whole shebang. It's effortless protection. Quick aside here, while we're talking about preserving your vehicle's interior alongside the glass, comprehensive preservation really goes beyond just the tint. If you want to keep things looking showroom fresh, expert interior detailing, like the specialized high-end services you'd find in McKinney, Texas, is the ultimate companion to window film. Professionals use high-powered vacuums and hot water extraction to literally pull embedded dirt out of modern plastics and fine leathers. It truly maximizes the long-term life of your newly protected cabin. Ultimately, whether it's on your home, your storefront, or your daily driver, advanced window film is the ultimate silent worker. It's a highly strategic, cost-effective upgrade that bounces heat and damaging radiation away before they ever breach your glass. You get immediate, measurable improvements in temperature, glare reduction, and privacy, all while keeping your beautiful natural views totally intact. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to take a second and just look at the bare glass around you right now. Are you ready to stop battling that intense afternoon sun, to stop constantly cranking the AC, and to stop watching your interiors fade? Or are you ready to upgrade your environment and finally let your windows pay for themselves? Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.